In this video, we're going to deal with everyone's least favorite subject, which is how to deal with cancellations. So this is a standard operating procedure for that, to make sure that we minimize revenue loss and make sure the client's happy. And having a really good cancellation policy prevents this from happening. Okay, it prevents problems from happening. So it's really important for all of us. So if we have a clear cancellation policy for in-person training, it reduces last-minute cancellations that result in potentially lost income, but also unfilled time slots. So there's nothing worse than getting a cancellation at 5 minutes to 6 for a 6 a.m. session. It sucks. Improves client accountability because it encourages commitment and prevents habitual cancellations. If there's a penalty to be paid, it makes it a lot less likely for people to cancel. Ensures business stability because you've got guidelines in place so people can just follow them, and it sets clear expectations. So make sure people do it and sign it in kahunas. Sign it and keep it in kahunas for future references. So what it should have is some really simple things in there. And we've got a sample one that you can use. It should have minimum notice period, a late cancellation fee, a rescheduling process, a no-show policy, and a membership or subscription cancellation policy. Now, the actual particulars of all these can be determined by you. These are just some suggested times there. But for most people, these will generally work pretty damn well. Now, there can be leeway with it. So if you have a client who's been with you for doing 3 sessions a week for 2 years and then miss a session, you can refund them. That's totally fine. Like if you feel like that's reasonable and you have a good relationship with that client and it's worth it to you, it's probably better to keep that client happy. So these are to be used as a guideline and used the majority of the time. But if you've got someone who's got a really good reason for it or something happens, you can also use the human element of personal training and make a decision that's better for that particular client. So handle session cancellations. Client cancels but follows the policy, gives 24 notice. Really simple. Log the cancellation, offer to reschedule within the same week if the policy allows, and send confirmation to a rescheduled session to avoid miscommunication. So reschedule the session before you worry about anything else. If they cancel and they can't make it because they're away, you can also pause the payment. As long as it's documented, totally fine. And the client gives you notice, totally fine as well. Now, last minute within 24 hours, remind the client the cancellation policy. You can offer one-time flexibility if it's their first offense, but emphasize the policy moving forward so that keeps an element of fairness in it. If no rescheduling is allowed per policy, charge for the missed session and reinforce accountability. So what I generally do is reschedule and book the session, okay, as best I can, particularly in the beginning when someone's saying it or someone's really reliable. But if they've been doing it a lot, don't let them get away with it. It will bite you in the butt. Now, if a client no-shows without notice, it's a no-show. Follow up with a polite but firm message and reinforce the importance of consistency. So, it's important for these people to for our clients to know this, that we do take it seriously. Now, also, please avoid assuming they intentionally skip. Give them a chance to explain. So I've had situations where, like, they've had, what's an example? A death in the family. I'm not going to charge them. It's pretty simple. Now, if their grandmother dies 6 times, then you probably know that you're dealing with someone that's lying. But a lot of the time, always try and find out what happened first. For a lot of people, if they just totally forgot and they screwed up and they didn't let you know, they're generally quite reasonable, which works out really well. Now, long-term coaching or membership cancellations, pardon me. Client wants to end coaching early but has agreed to a minimum contract. Refer to the signed confirmation. Really simple. If there's an early cancellation fee, remind them of it. Offer some alternative options. And if cancellation is due to financial concerns, drop them down a tier. So don't immediately accept the cancellation without checking their contract terms, okay? Make sure you stick to that because it's the best practice that you can possibly do. Now, if they cancel due to financial reasons, acknowledge the situation with empathy, budget-friendly or lower-tiered services, provide free value to keep them engaged, and if cancellation is unavoidable, thank them for their time, leave the door open for future training. Do not dismiss their concern and get rid of them, and then put them in your follow-up sequence that we gave you a few modules ago. Now, escalation process. If a client disputes a charge or cancellation fee after agreeing to a policy, step 1, refer to the signed contract. Offer a compromise or flexible solution if it benefits retention. If a refund is required, you can process it, but if the client remains unhappy, you can say, look, you can take this somewhere else, but that's the policy that you did. Now, it's going to be very hard to enforce this with online training, because generally with a debt collection company, the debt needs to be a high enough level for them to be willing to take it on. And when you sell to a debt collection company, what happens is you sell the debt to them for a lowered price. So say the debt's for $3,000, you're only going to maybe get $1,000 off the debt company, which is not ideal, but it's better than nothing. But most debt collection companies won't do it. In a lot of cases, if a client's been a real nightmare, it's probably easier to cut and run, because we are small businesses. Stick to your guns initially, but if they keep on dragging it out, then you're best off just to cut it, not have someone pissed off at you and talking stuff about you on social media or online, because that can certainly negatively affect your reputation. So the best preventive measures are to basically set expectations of day one, get things signed, and explain cancellation terms at onboarding. It will solve a lot of problems in the future. If you follow this SOP, you'll be far more successful.